All right, I'm going to call to order the City of Menasha Board of Public Works meeting. Clerk Aliazi, could you please take roll call?
Alderman Sevenik. Here. Alderman Langdon. Here. Alderman Kruger.
Here.
Alderman Tom Grady.
Here.
Alderman Ted Grady.
Here.
Alderman Rapella.
Here.
Alderman Nichols. Here. Alderman Taylor.
Okay, first up on the agenda are the minutes to approve for both the special meeting on May 6, 2019 and a regular meeting on May 6, 2019. Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. I will take these together as you did. I will approve the minutes from the May 6th, 2019 special Board of Public Works. And then number two, the May 6th, 2019 regular meeting of the Board of Public Works.
Second. We have a motion and a second by Alderman Ted Grady. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving on to discussion and action items. The first is a street use application for the Diablo Cycling Menasha for Saturday, June 15th. Director Adamski.
Dr. Adamski is my wife, so.
I'm going to print a big word up here saying director.
So Diablo Cycling, that's an annual event. I do want to point out that last year there was an issue where they did not notify the residents along the route that they were going to be closing those streets. We did inform them that they do have to get us a copy of that new letter. We have not received that copy yet, so hopefully they'll be getting that to us. But those letters are supposed to be to the adjoining street residences by a week from today, because it's got to be a week before the council approval. So I'll keep you updated next week about that. But that's something that we just have not gotten, and it was an issue last year. So.
Okay, all right. Is there a motion? Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. I'll make the motion to forward to council the street use application for the Diablo Cycling Menasha Criterium for Saturday, June 15th, 2019, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And again, that's Diablo Cycling.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Alderman Ted Grady. Any discussion? Alderman Ted Grady.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Josh, is that why you didn't approve the signatures?
Yes, that
Okay.
was why I don't have my signature
Okay.
on there, was just for that reason.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, can we take a roll call?
Motion carried on roll call 8-0.
Moving on to discussion action item number 2 is the street use application for Community Fest Parade. Director?
Again, another annual event that takes place on July 3rd. This is Director Tungate's, one of Director Tungate's events, so I was thinking that he was going to be here to explain more.
Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. I'll make the motion to forward to council the street use application for Community Fest Parade of Lights for Wednesday, July 3rd, 2019, from 9 p.m. to 10:15 p.m. That's for the cities of Neenah and Menasha.
We have a motion and a second by Alderman Tom Grady. Alderman Taylor.
We've got two events here coming up. Why isn't Brian here to answer our questions? I asked during the year that the Community Fest Parade, are we going back to starting in Menasha one year, starting in Neenah the next year?
Mayor.
They are not. The decision was made by the committee that they would fund two musicians, one in Neenah and one in Menasha, if the parade started in Neenah, so that the Pajama Jam could be in Neenah.
Yeah, so their
and the
kids
band.
can do
Yes.
something.
Otherwise, we would go back to, if we switch back and forth, we go to one band in opposite cities, opposite years again. So that was the agreement that was made.
Why don't we just do our own band for what it costs on the square and have it switch back and forth, you know?
If
Kids
you
in
would like to
Menasha,
go
the
to
parents
the
want,
committee, you're welcome to
parents
go to
want to
that
get their
committee.
kids to bed early here, and that's why, in fairness, we switched it every other year.
That was what the decision was made at the committee. I don't sit on the committee.
Who's on the committee?
It's people from the Max and people from the girls' basketball team that does the event on the square, and then people that run the Nina event as well.
Okay, no city official?
It's not really a committee. It's just a group of people
I heard there's
that
like 10 people from Nina and maybe one from Menasha that shows up for these meetings.
they don't typically show up that often on the Menasha side, no, because they're doing their thing in their park.
I
If
think
you'd
we should
like
go
to
back.
go to those,
And Community Fest was to be a joint event with the cities and in good faith to operate this. And I think we should go back with starting the parade every other year as it has been in the past.
that's your opinion, but that's not what was decided. If,
That's what the public has asked me throughout the year, Joe.
I have not heard that from the public.
Well, that's how it started, and it's so the kids in Nina get to bed earlier, kids over here gotta stay up later.
Is there any more discussion? Alderman Langdon.
Chair, hey, I just thinking, Alderman Taylor, maybe that'd be something for you, maybe, and I was just thinking, maybe every 3 years or something, instead of every other year, or just throwing that out at you, maybe, just a thought. That way you're talking about the parades, and they can kinda do it, and so.
Seeing no further discussion, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call 8-0.
Moving on to item number 3 is the street use application for the Grunsky Runsky on Saturday, August 10th. Director Adamski.
Similar, it was a Brian Tungate event. It's a run that's been done every year for the last couple of years at least. I don't know how long it's been going on.
At least 20 years. Like about 20, at least 5.
Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. I'll make the motion to forward to council the street use application for the Grunsky Runsky for Saturday, August 10th, 2019, 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's for the city of Menasha.
We have a motion and a second by Alderman Ted Grady. Alderman Taylor.
And on the street use permit, Cargus Drive is listed as a street on the street use permit on the map.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, can we take roll call?
Is he? Oh, yeah. I'll run down and watch it.
Motion carried on roll call 8-0.
Moving on to action item number 4 is the payment for Feker and Sons Company Incorporated for Community Way, new storm and sewer and water main and street construction. Director Adamski.
This project is the project that's going on over near Community First over on LP just north of 10. It's a new street that's being constructed there. The majority of this payment is for the water main. I do want to make you guys aware that we may have issues with the water main depending on how this Harrison agreement goes about, because they did deny us from connecting to their existing water main on this project, so we may see a small extra that we'll try and work out with Harrison, but just making you guys aware ahead of time before you guys get surprised by it.
Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. Make the motion to forward to council payment for Feker and Sons Company, Inc., contract unit number 2018-04. That's for Community Way, the new storm sewer, water main, and street construction in the amount of $134,641.65, payment number 1.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
A second by Alderman Rapala. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call 8-0.
Moving on to action item number 5 is the payment for Summers Construction Company Incorporated for the new street construction on Province Trail, Jenny Street, Province Link, and Midway Crossing. Director Adamski.
So this is the project over by Festival Foods, Province Terrace. It's a new street construction, concrete. They actually have the first lane of concrete down, so we'll be continuing to work on that project.
Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. Make the motion to forward to council for the payment to Summers Construction Company, Inc., contract unit number 2019-01 for the new street construction, Province Terrace, Jenny Street, Province Link, and Midway Crossings. That's for the various locations in the amount of $50,199.04. Payment number 1.
We have a motion. Is there a second? I'll second. And a second by Alderman Rapala. Alderman Taylor.
Josh, you know I like concrete, and why was the decision made, concrete versus blacktop on this project?
This was a part of the developer's agreement back when that was signed. I don't recall the exact date, but it was early 2000s. And it's mainly because this was a commercial development. It's all a commercial area. So that's why the decision was made to go concrete.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, can we take a roll call?
Motion carried on roll call 8-0.
Moving on to action item number 6 is the payment to Yankee General Contractors Incorporated for Province Terrace Trail, Nature's Way, from Highway 10 to 114. Do I have, Director Adamski?
So again, this is the trail project that's going on out there. I know a couple of you guys have taken a look at it. It's moving along pretty well. Still hoping for early June, completion.
Alderman Langdon.
Thank you, Chair. Make the motion to forward to council for the payment to Yankee General Contractors, Inc., contract unit number 2019-02 for the Province Terrace Trail, Nature's Way to US Highway 10 to State Highway 114 in the amount of $130,589.56. Payment number 4.
We have a motion and a second by Alderman Tom Grady. Alderman Taylor.
Josh, you know what the length of that trail is? Could you email that to me?
I can get you that link.
Thanks.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, can we take a roll call?
Motion carried on roll call 8-0.
Moving on to action item number 7 is ordinance O-8-19, an ordinance amending Title 10, Chapter 1, Article B of the Code of Ordinances, introduced by Alderman Rapala. Director Adamski.
So this is cleaning up our one-way stops authorized ordinance yet again. Unfortunately, we keep on running into these situations where there's stop signs that we are finding that are not currently in our code. So this is 3 stop signs that we found out on Midway Crossing while we were doing that project. When we looked into reinstalling them, we found that, they're not actually in our code anywhere. So this is just kind of updating our code to match what was existing in the field.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Alderman Rapala.
I'll make a motion to accept, thank you. I'll make a motion to accept.
Hey, don't touch anything. Okay.
I didn't. I'll make a motion to accept, ordinance 0819, 0819, an ordinance amending Title 10, Chapter 1, Article B of the Code of Ordinances, controlled intersections designated Midway Crossing, introduced by myself, Alderman Rapella. Is there a second?
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Alderman Ted Grady.
Good. Glad you
Is-
wanted to do that.
Is there any further discussion? See none, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call 8-0.
Moving on to, last action item is to pursue the USDA funding option and request, that the redevelopment authority of the city of Menasha sign Form 1942-46, letter of intent to meet conditions. Director Radomski.
So this item is allowing the RDA to sign the two forms listed, or requesting that the RDA signs the two forms listed in order to pursue the USDA funding. Right now, we have received conditional approval of the USDA loan, and in order for us to pursue that loan, the RDA needs to request that the USDA hold those funds for this project. There's still several more steps that need to take place, lease agreements, finalization of how we're funding everything, but this is the first step in the process to getting that loan officially approved. We do want to make note that we are not allowed to necessarily take this to the media at this point. It can obviously show up in our meetings as public meetings, but we aren't, going to be making a media announcement until everything is I's dotted, T's crossed, and loans officially approved. But this is the first step to getting there.
Thank you. Alderman Langdon.
So this isn't getting forward to council, right? This is just the first step? Does this get?
It goes
Oh,
forward
gets
to
forward
council.
council? Oh, okay. All right, I will forward to council, to pursue the USDA funding option and request that the redevelopment authority of the city of Menasha sign Form 1942-46. That's the letter of intent to meet conditions. And Form 1940-1, that's the request for obligation of funds by June 7th, 2019. And this does not commit the RDA to approve any construction of the building at this time.
We have a motion and a second by Alderman Nichols. Is Alderman Grotti, Ted Grotti.
Thank you, Chair. Wasn't here last week when you had that workshop on this discussion. Are there dates set for construction, or is it depends on this? I understand that, but we're pushing this back about how far do you think?
The best estimate at this time, and the consensus based on what I've heard from the workshop, was that we're going to do this work starting next spring. To try and rush it through still this year is, although potentially possible, it does create issues on our operations end where we would have to find storage for all of our large vehicles, which we have looked around at several locations knowing that this was a possibility, and we haven't really found any good locations at this time. Again, that was, based on discussions that I've had with people about that meeting, was that that's the current timeline. And I think that's probably the best case right now.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, can we? We will hold off for a second and let me know when it's ready. Okay, can we take roll call?
Motion carried on roll call 8-0.
Okay, last item is adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion, second by Alderman Tom Grotti. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned.